Today, we're going to crack open one of the greatest psychological thrillers ever written, Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment. We're not just going to retell the story, oh no. We're diving deep, right into the mind of a man who convinces himself he has the right to kill. And we're going to watch the devastating fallout from that single monstrous idea.
First things first, you have to meet our main guy, Raskolnikov. And this quote, it just nails his state of mind. See, he's not just broke. He's in this constant state of irritation, almost paranoia. He is completely, terrifyingly alone, just trapped inside his own head in the middle of a sweltering St. Petersburg. And it's this isolation. This is the fertile ground where his dark theory is about to take root.
And this, right here, is the central question that drives the entire novel. Dostoevsky isn't just asking about some random, senseless crime. He's digging into what happens when a brilliant, but totally warped, mind decides to just redraw the lines of morality for himself. What are the consequences when you truly believe you are above the law?
So let's start at the beginning, with Raskolnikov's pretty desperate situation, and how this plan of his came to be. You have to picture the scene. The city of St. Petersburg is hot, it's crowded, it stinks. Raskolnikov, he's a former student, and he's so deep in debt to his landlady, he's literally terrified of bumping into her on the stairs. All around him is suffering. Drunks in taverns, his own family making these huge sacrifices just for him. The pressure is just immense.
And this is where things get really twisted. The idea of murdering a greedy old pawnbroker for her money, it starts out as this repulsive, hideous dream. But his desperation, mixed with a whole lot of intellectual pride, makes him start to reframe it. It's not a murder anymore. No, it's a test, an exploit to be attempted, a way to prove something. The idea is no longer a fantasy. It's becoming a full-blown theory.
Which brings us right to the philosophical heart of the crime. See, Raskolnikov needed a reason, an ideology that could turn murder into something righteous, and boy did he find one in his own theory.
So get this, he actually publishes an article about this theory. He argues that there's a law of nature that splits all of humanity into two totally different groups. This isn't just good versus evil in his mind. No, for him it's a fundamental truth about who we are. And it's this belief that's going to give him the permission slip he thinks he needs.
And this chart breaks it all down. It's so simple and so terrifying. On one side, you've got the ordinary, the masses. They follow the rules. Their job is to just keep the species going. They have to obey. But then there are the extraordinary few. Think Napoleons of the world. These are the game changers, the destroyers. They have the gift to say something new, and they have the right to step over any obstacle, and yes, that includes other people, to achieve their great idea. And guess which category Raskolnikov thinks he belongs to? His own friend, Razumihin, hears about this theory, and he is just horrified. This quote cuts right to the bone. Raskolnikov isn't just making excuses for a crime. He is sanctioning bloodshed in the name of conscience. It's a fanaticism that says his own judgment is more important than any moral law or any divine law. The idea is now fully baked. And next, we're going to see what happens when that idea becomes reality.
All right, the theory is in place. Raskolnikov is ready to move from thought to action. But, as he's about to find out, the reality of murder is a whole lot messier than the clean intellectual exercise he'd imagined.
I mean, just look at the level of premeditation here. This was not some spontaneous act of passion, not even close. He plans every single detail. He wraps up a block of wood to look like a silver cigarette case. He sews a little loop, a noose, inside his coat to hold the axe, and he waits for the perfect moment. He's trying to control everything, like it's some kind of math problem he just needs to solve.
And then, it happens. He brings the axe down, and in that single moment of bloody, brutal, messy reality, his entire grand theory just evaporates. It's not a philosophical act. It's clumsy, it's horrifying, it's just butchery. And then, to make everything a million times worse, the pawnbroker's gentle sister, Lizaveta, walks in. And he has to kill her too. A detail his grand theory definitely did not account for.
The aftermath is pure chaos. He barely gets away, and when he stumbles back to his tiny room, he is just gripped by terror and confusion. He can't even think straight enough to hide the things he stole. This quote says it all. His reason is deserting him. The very intellect that he thought made him extraordinary, the thing that gave him the right to kill, has completely abandoned him. The crime didn't prove he was a Superman. It's starting to prove he's just another terrified human being.
Now, to really get why he did this, we can't just stay inside Raskolnikov's head.
we have to look at the world around him, a world that is just saturated with suffering and people making impossible choices.
In a tavern, Raskolnikov meets this drunk government clerk named Marmeladov, and he makes this really crucial distinction. He says poverty is not a vice. You can be poor and still have your dignity, your nobility of soul. But beggary is a vice. That's when you hit rock bottom, when you're so humiliated that you're just swept out with a broom. And that captures the social terror of this world. The fear isn't just being poor, it's being completely and utterly degraded.
And just look at the women in his life. Marmeladov's daughter, Sonia, she's been forced into prostitution just to feed her family. Raskolnikov's own sister, Dounia, is about to sacrifice herself by marrying this horrible man, Luzhin, all for financial security. Now Raskolnikov sees their sacrifices and he hates them. He thinks it's disgusting, and that paradoxically just fuels his own terrible plan to take control in his mind instead of becoming another victim.
So, after the crime, Raskolnikov isn't just fighting the law. No, he's fighting a battle for his own soul, and it's happening on two different fronts.
The first battle is this incredible intellectual duel. It's a tense cat-and-mouse game with the brilliant investigator, Porfiry Petrovitch. Now, Porfiry has zero physical evidence, but he's read Raskolnikov's article about the extraordinary man, and he suspects him right away. What follows is this series of masterfully tense conversations where Porfiry just tries to trap Raskolnikov using his own ideas against him.
And this is Porfiry's strategy, in his own words. It's terrifyingly smart. He doesn't need to arrest him. He just has to plant that seed of doubt, let him know that he knows, and then just wait. He knows Raskolnikov's own guilt and paranoia will do all the work for him. He'll just keep applying this gentle, psychological pressure until his suspect completely breaks down.
The second battle is a spiritual one, and it's fought with Sonia. She is the total opposite of his theory. She is humble, she suffers without complaint, and she has this deep, unshakable Christian faith. While Raskolnikov chose murder to try and rise above suffering, Sonia embraces it. She's the one who shows him that true freedom isn't in proving you're superior. It's in confessing your sin and accepting your punishment.
So you've got these two immense pressures closing in, the intellectual pressure from Porfiry and the spiritual pressure from Sonia. And it all builds to the novel's climax, where Raskolnikov has to finally, truly confront himself.
And this is it. This is the whole thing. The one question that has been eating him alive from the very beginning. Was the murder a real test of his greatness? Did he have the right to take a life for what he saw as a higher purpose? Or was he just a trembling creature, a louse, just like everybody else? He even confesses to Sonia it was never about the money. He did it just to answer this one question.
Urged on by Sonia, he goes to the public square, the Haymarket, and in this incredibly profound act of humility, he gets on his knees and he kisses the dirty ground, reconnecting with the very humanity he tried so hard to rise above. And then he walks into the police station and he confesses. In that moment, he finally accepts it. His theory was a failure, he's no Napoleon, he's a murderer, and his path forward isn't to glory, it's to Siberia.
And that's really where the story leaves us. Raskolnikov's journey is only just beginning. He's confessed, sure, but he hasn't really repented yet. Dostoevsky leaves us chewing on this massive question. Is it only through accepting punishment, through embracing suffering like Sonia did, that a person can ever truly find redemption and be reborn? It's a question that makes Crime and Punishment absolutely timeless.